for anybody that's recorded a podcast, one of the things is like, what do? Do you say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, what month, what day of the year? You really can't say anything unless you're live, which we're not. So welcome. My name's Dan Degryse, and my co-host is Chris Muscle.
What's up, Dan?
My age. That's certainly up.
That's a fact.
So let's just start off with this. So right now it's 50 degrees in Chicago. We're in November. This will be airing probably December or January. And tomorrow it's going to be, I think, 22 degrees. What is it like in Texas?
22?
Yeah.
It is 65 degrees right now.
All right, golfing weather.
No, that's jacket weather for us.
So wherever this finds you, the title of our show today is in honor of Christmas, right? They say the best Christmas ever. And I kid around with people, love my family. The best thing about Christmas and the holiday, or actually I take this back. We're coming up on Thanksgiving, but it's going to be Christmas, and I'm probably getting in trouble by all of Firefighter Nation because you're not supposed to say what time it is. But the whole point of this is, we're going to say the best Christmas ever. And the best part of it is when family comes by, and the next best time is when they leave. So with that, and I mean that all in good fun, the title of this show is going to be the best career ever. Chris and I talked and have talked. Anybody that knows me knows I've been in behavioral health since I grew up, and I got a degree in psychology and got out into the field of psychology back in 1986, a long, long time ago. And in the fire service, I've been around it since basically 9/11. And from peer support to internal EAP to helping the IFF to helping the National Volunteer Fire Council and so on. But there has been some time where there has been, I would say, maybe not a negativity, but just, we got in the fire service and we knew that the potential of getting hurt, getting burned, being away from the family, stress, right, was real. Is that fair, Chris?
Yeah, 100%.
And same, you were in the military for 4 or 5 years. Yeah. And let's be honest, I don't know if they said it in boot camp or whenever, but in the same thing in the fire service, you can have any of those and all those things happen. Also, you get killed.
100%.
Okay. But on the other side of it, right, the other side of the coin for the fire service, pretty darn good pay. I started in the 80s at like $24,000, and now my son just got on a fire department. He is going to make over 6 figures within a year.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's across the country, but the pay has really evolved over time. And I understand that in Firefighter Nation, there's a lot of volunteer personnel that'll be watching, and I know that God love all the volunteer personnel out there, because I just had a conversation with another retired guy out of Texas and said, we love volunteer firefighters, but I don't know if we would have done that. I don't know if I would have done that. So kudos to all of you. The point I'm trying to make here is that from pay and a time off, sometimes if we do choose to be home with our family, the pension, and just being with the brother and sisterhood is a heck of a reward that I look forward to going to work every day. How about you?
Yeah, that's what makes it, right? One of there's pay schedule things we can talk about, but the camaraderie. They say 24, 48, 48, 96, whatever your schedule is, you spend a third of your, right? Most people, third of your life, right? Career life, I guess, at the firehouse. The people that you work with make it or break it.
Yeah. So I got to think it's probably been about 10 or 12 years now, maybe a little bit longer, where I've talked openly, outwardly about behavioral health. Again, I've been around it most of my life and started a program back in 2014. It really wasn't discussed much. People from the fire and EMS world were not outwardly talking about mental wellness. And obviously the title, the overarching title of our podcast is Mental Health Monthly. So we're talking about that, but we really want to talk about it from a positivity standpoint. Every day you wake up, you don't want to go to your spouse, male or female, and say, oh, today might be the day that I get hurt or killed. That's just a negative standpoint. We know that there's a lot of jobs out there, and not just in the fire service, that are stressful, but in other podcasts I've shared how much I enjoyed going to work every single day, whether it was 100 degrees out, below zero out, rain, snow, whatever, because I couldn't wait to get there and be with those personnel and respond to potentially the unexpected, but really the expected that we look forward to, whether, and I won't get into any graphic stuff, but right? That's what drew us to this career.
Yeah. And, in the fire service, you always hear paramilitary, right? Very paramilitary, very paramilitary. Mm-hmm. And it's the same, right? Even when I was in the military, overseas in combat, some of my darkest days, right? It was the people, right? And for somebody that started in the military and then transitioned to the fire service, it's the same, right? It's the same. It's the people, right? That you look forward to, and the memories and the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, right?
100%. So with that said, do you remember the names or the personnel that you have looked forward to seeing, and why? Yes. You were talking about the military, but also the paramilitary. I don't want to discount the military, because many of the people in the service line that we're in, career, volunteer, or combination, are military personnel. So all the above. Who do you, and again, from a positivity standpoint, because there are some conversations out there about bullying and bad bosses, right? People don't leave careers, they leave bad bosses. So who did you look forward to seeing each day, and why?
I think it was the, I don't think I know. It was the people. It's really a two-part answer. It was the guys that I embedded with, the guys that were part of your squad, platoon, team, whatever. But then there was also, for me, and it's somebody who's very near and dear to me to this day, was our company commander. Right? And someone that I still have a relationship with, my kids have a relationship with. But it's interesting, because even in the fire service, right, you have the people that you're in the trenches with every day, if you will, you're sitting with on the rig. Then there's that leadership component that makes it all happen. So 100%, I remember, I still talk to, you don't talk to everybody that you served with.
Right.
But
what was his name?
Scott Husing.
Okay.
Retired as a major. Was our company commander.
And what did that bring? So remembering him right now, right? And you already have said that you talk with him. He knows your family. So I think is he in Texas?
He just moved to Texas. Yep.
Okay.
After he
remember
retired.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that bring? What does that do to you inside mentally or emotionally when you bring up his name?
Sense of purpose, security, right? Emotional support, wellness. Those are the things. And it's like that beacon of light, right? On both sides, like when things are going well, from the encouragement standpoint, or, but then also like in those dark times, bad day, bad week, tough run, whatever, right? He's that support.
Was he tough on you?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
in a good way, right?
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
I just want to see your face. Is that you probably thought of a few times where you got yelled at or scolded? Like, muscle.
Yeah.
Like, oh, gee.
And it's funny how life happens, because in the moment you're like, God, this guy can be tough, and then you look back on it, right? Yeah, great guy.
Yeah. So from a mental health monthly and mental health, we don't always have to talk about the gosh, I struggle with words for today. Not from a negativity standpoint or a less than, or, oh my gosh, we're all going to succumb to it. Is that's your face when I asked you to mention his name. That is mental health. That is the camaraderie. It's the, and don't, for me, like when I'm asking you, I'm thinking of my buddy, Bob DeBerkey. Unfortunately, he died, of a heart attack. It kind of ran in his family, didn't necessarily, he was one of those guys that, he didn't say rub dirt on it, but he would go off, take care of himself, and come back. Or if we were at an incident and he wouldn't say, hey, I need a blow, he would just remove himself for a minute and then come back. He would never verbalize, hey, I'm hitting my point. And so I don't know this for a fact, but just imagining him, because I know where he died. I know the circumstances. He was a man amongst men. He was sitting in his chair, and I'm assuming he goes, probably saying to himself, this will subside too. Instead of picking up the phone and going, hey, Dan, Bob, whoever else, or calling 911 and going to the hospital, that's a whole nother thing. But when I think of the people that mentored me and give me a smile inside throughout my career, I think of him, and then it goes down the line. Waivers, okay, an 8 out of 10, a 9 out of 10, a 5 out of 10, even the 4s out of 10, right? That are favorable, but there's those core people that I can remember that bring a smile to my face.
100%. It's the people. And the people is what makes, in my opinion, one of the big things that makes this job so great. The people.
So my question to you and to everybody that's listening, and sometimes when I have a conversation, people are like, where the hell are you going, Dan? And you might be doing the same thing. Like, where are you going? So we're in this about 15 minutes. Do we do that intentionally? Do we offer ourselves that time each day while we're working or retired or off of work, that pleasantry in the sense of remembering the positive people that we've been around? And that's a question to you. Oh yeah, I'm looking at your face right now.
So I think that's a strong question. And I think you already know the answer.
What one I didn't offer you before we got on the show. So you're
okay.
like, oh man, I just got set up.
Oh no. If we're not intentional about it, no, it doesn't happen.
But are you? Are you?
I'm intentional. Yes, I'm intentional about it.
Okay.
I don't think. Have I always been intentional about it? Absolutely not. Right. Life gets in the way. That's the easy button. Life got in the way. Kids, family, work, job, bills, this, that, right? And next thing you know, it's 10:30 at night and you're going to bed, right? Which, for me, part of my self-care is intentionality of things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, no, I wasn't always perfect at it. And I certainly, up until recently, that wasn't part of my daily to-do list. So, but now it's, yes, I am intentional about that. To the point to where if I haven't talked to a certain mentor, inner circle person, that's what I call them, inner circle person, if time has gone by, and I can't tell you it's 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, there's not a algorithm for it. I start to get this out of body feeling like, oh, I haven't talked to so-and-so recently. I need to call them to talk about nothing other than whatever, not to solve a problem, not to brag, not other than just a conversation. And sometimes that 5-minute, 50-minute conversation, whatever it looks like, I'm good.
So many of the people that probably listen to this podcast are people that help others, or even maybe want to help others, or maybe even just curious. So a lot of peer supporters, maybe internal EAP people in the psychology world, maybe leaders, who knows? Hopefully a lot of people, otherwise we'll be off the show soon. Is when I think about my career my purpose as a peer supporter, I remember everybody think to themselves, when that phone rings, how many people have said, "Hey, Dan, what are you doing? And if you're not doing anything, let's go have lunch." Or, "Hey, Dan, how you doing?" Or, "Hey, what's new?" Probably 99% of the time that somebody called me, it's exactly what you just said, is to the other side of it is that, "Hey, I need this. Can you help me with this?" or whatever. And what I would love to see, honestly, is, and it goes both ways because I have to do this myself, is, and this, is as we've gotten to know each other, obviously I'm a couple decades older than you, but we're still friends, and I might just call or text to see what's up without anything else. And usually the response is, all good. What do you need? And sometimes I won't, it's nothing. It really goes both ways. It gives the person an opportunity to be like, "Oh yeah, I need to chat with you," and for me, just to connect. I didn't do that before. I didn't. A lot of times people don't reach out just when things are good. And so that's another piece to this conversation that I want to offer to any of the listeners out there, is that try that on somebody. Try that on yourself and try that on somebody. Well, you just call up and go, "What's new?" And I'd guarantee you that 99% of the people that respond will be like, "What do you need?"
Yeah. And I think that's a really good self-assessment tool, or a way for you to determine how you live, right? Because if I'm constantly calling people and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, Dan? What's going on?" You're like, "Oh, it's good. I just got done golfing. What's up? What do you need?" To me, I'm like, what am I not doing right? Like, or maybe not doing right, doing wrong. That's not what I mean. What I mean is, are my priorities, right? Like, am I that guy that's people feel like every time I call, they need something? Right. Which could get really in the weeds about self-care. And do I truly have friends, or do I just have people that answer when I need some, you know what I mean? I don't know. I think that's,
Well, it's a two-way street. What are we doing? And we don't want to always insert people as peer supporters. We don't want to always insert ourselves in somebody else, but I have shared many times, regardless of anybody's position, there are life stressors. I've said this stat before: is 85% of people in the workforce feel stressed, and good stress, bad stress, whatever it may be, but it's still stress. And then 65% have significant stress. What does that mean? Is that chest pain? Is that shortness of breath? Is that hypervigilance? Is that bullying, or whatever it is? But the point of this conversation here is we know that's present. If we know we're going to get hungry, we have to eat. And I always use this example, and I don't know if I've used it on this show, is if you're thirsty, it's already a little bit too late, right? We're supposed to prehydrate, get ready, all that stuff for a job so it doesn't lead to a heart attack. And so from a mental wellness standpoint, and a lot of people that have already gone to see a counselor now go for regular checkups to maintain that stability and mental wellness. We work out so that we can be strong and not get injured. I just had knee surgery, so I'm trying now to get back up to where I was. Yeah, I know I'm old, and I know you're going to smile, and it's been 6 weeks, and I'm struggling.
I was just wondering, 6 weeks, right? You're struggling not because of the surgery, but because it's been a little while since you've been on the golf course, probably.
Oh no, I've already played. and that may have something to do with my recovery.
Delayed the recovery, right?
Yeah, I did play 2 rounds last week, but hence why my knee is swollen.
It's on a chair, people.
Anyhow, so where was I before you derailed me? How do we stay involved, right? Again, this conversation is not, I don't want everybody either to come or not to come, because all they're going to do is talk about bad stuff, right? That's not what this show is about. I'm not a big fan of sitting there going, okay, self-care and boundaries and all that. That's all necessary. We're all very intelligent out in this career line to know that. But I really want to ask, and again, we can't have me and you could have interactive, but we can't interact with the people who are out there. But I want you to ask yourself, are you intentional to stay engaged with other people for the benefit of them as much as for you?
So let's talk about it, because we're talking about people, right? We're talking about and right now, what we're focusing on is the people we work with, right? We've talked about camaraderie, and so we're talking about the station level, right? The firehouse level, and engagement. And so the question, right? We're asking people to stay engaged. So a good question is, what does engagement look like? Is it you show up at work and you're there early and you take the guy's gear off the rig that you're relieving, and you give 110% for your 12, 24, 48 hour tour, whatever that looks like, right? And then you go home and you see him again whenever your next shift comes around, tour comes around, right? Because I think that's important. What does engagement look like? Is it, and I know I've heard you talk about this before. I experienced this early on in my career, right? The crew was showing up to the kids' ball game, the birthdays, right? The holidays. So, they knew your kids' names. If you were on duty, there was a guy on either shift, right? Something happened at your house. They could go over and shut the water off for your spouse, things like, right? Like, so what is engagement? Is it just the guy that shows up and he's 110% for the length of that tour? Or, is there another piece to that camaraderie that makes this job so great? And I think that's the element. Everybody shows up to work, right? Most people show up and want to give the 110%. What makes that job so great? And I think that's a piece of it that really makes this job so great that maybe you don't see in other workforces.
So that's a great question. I don't know if we had this conversation, and again, I can't remember who I talked to yesterday, but think, me a bit. Think of me as a firefighter. What do you think what do you think I enjoyed the most about my 24-hour shift? Specifically,
I would like to, I think the people.
Okay.
I think the people, knowing you and knowing the type of person you are, the people.
Right. But what part of that day? I mean, there's a lot of different things that go on in a 24-hour shift. What do you think it was?
Oh, what do I think?
Yeah.
I think it was the kitchen table, coffee time.
So that's close.
Okay.
That's close. Doing house chores.
Okay.
People will walk in the firehouse and think, oh my gosh, right, I got to do the dishes or mop the floor or clean the windows. Everybody wants to find a way to get out of it. But we had when I was a firefighter, double house, engine, truck, ambulance. And 1 month you'd be lower level, next month you'd be upper level, right? Mopping the floor, doing the dishes, cleaning the kitchen, apparatus floor, toilets, whatever it was. That's where we had conversations. And we have conversations all over the place, but a lot of times people look at it as menial. I found it to be, we were getting paid pretty good money to do that stuff. And we would talk throughout the whole, from the time we started to the time we end until we got a run. I mean, there's other times, right? Sure. Kitchen table, and that's there all day. After a run, before a run, after dinner, maybe even cooking. Sometimes people had that. And I had a lot of great experiences when I cooked, once I learned how to cook, because not everybody knows how to cook, but doing chores. I mean, I would guess that maybe not everybody looked at that. But when I look back at my career, hopefully some of the people that are listening are thinking, yeah, man, that's when I talked to Chris or talked to Dan, or I went there and the officer was in a tower or in a room and you went, hey, can I get your garbage can? And I don't know if that's probably not universal across the board, but that was one of my times. That's
cool. No, I wouldn't have guessed that. And not only were you talking to the guys or the gals, let's not discount there's the pranks when you're doing chores and the fun times, and it's just right. So
we also did during chores is we tested each other when we were studying for lieutenants.
Yeah,
we'd go around and riddle me this, Batman, trying to stump the next person, and we made it fun.
Well, and let's talk about that for a second, because it's cool how perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You can have two perspectives on it. You can be like, man, house chores suck. I got the short straw today. I got to mop the floor.
Or just trying to get it out of the way. Let's get it done. No.
Yeah. Or you can make it positive and fun and memorable. That's cool. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to switch gears on you now. So I got a couple of screens up here. So I looked at best careers to get into.
Okay.
And again, this is the internet, and anybody can look at that. It's relative, but where do you think firefighting is?
I'd say somewhere around 10.
So it's not even on the screen here. So you got data scientist, software developer, IT manager, nurse practitioner, physician assistant, registered nurse, financial manager, I mean, it's a general thing, but I tried to look at the best careers: nurse practitioners, data scientists, and information security analysts. Wow. But again, what's the parameters? What are they looking for? Due to their strong growth outlook and high median pay. But why did we get in the fire service?
Because it's the best career in the world.
And because we got, which we've talked about already for the first half hour, is the camaraderie, the brother and the sisterhood, the poking fun at each other, and the conversation. Those people, maybe they're getting paid more. I don't know. Not in every department, because again, we get paid a pretty good buck. I don't think they're having as much fun as we are.
No, not at all. Not at all. So the question becomes, right? You like to throw questions at me out of left field without any.
Yeah, come on, man. I'm ready.
Do you
scoop it up and throw it right back?
Here we go. You ready for this one?
I'm ready.
Okay. This is a little tougher one, I think.
All right. 2 plus 2 is 4.
There you go. Do you think camaraderie in the fire service or today's firehouses is the same as it was?
I already know the answer. Already know the answer.
That's a 2-part question, because you're going to say no.
It's different.
It's different. Okay. So then the next question is why? And what are some tips, which I think are things we're talking about right now, to either re-engage that, bring it back, embrace it, or even just make it stronger we make everything better, right? The fire service has been improving for hundreds of years. So what are some tips? We're talking about some of them.
So that's great. That's a great question, because I just talked to my son, and he was on a computer. He's going through paramedic school, and I go, "Who are you on the computer with?" He goes, "My buddy Ben." Now, I think Ben is in Colorado. So from a connection standpoint, we knew the people around us. Now kids know people all over the country because of the internet. And they know that also in the fire service, and if they go to FDIC or Firehouse or any of the conferences that are out there, their expansion is unlimited. But what I would offer is the same thing that happens in the fire service all the time when somebody gets hurt or killed in a line of duty in your department. Everybody's like, we got too far ahead of our skis. Let's go back to the basics. And then you go back to SCBA, ladder, RIT, the basic, how to put your gear on, all, safety, if you got burned, putting your hood on. Don't forget about, and this is the conversation, is don't forget about the people around you. And then not only from a physicality standpoint, but also from a, who do you want to talk to and who do you need to talk to stay connected? Because as an old man at 61, man, if I could slow down time, I would, but I can't. It passes us by and we forget about taking a pause.
Yeah.
How's that answer?
No, okay? It's great. And so it just, it made me think of something, which that's how our shows go, right? That's what makes it great in our minds, at least, is if you're watching this show, how about a challenge? Do you like challenges?
Me? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you love challenges, right? Firemen love challenges. They love competition. So here's a challenge if you're watching this show. If you don't already do this, go to your firehouse the next time you're on duty, right? And just say to your crew, hey, for dinner tonight, we're not going to pull out our phones one time. Breakfast, lunch, whatever it is, right? Pick. If you're really good, like get Gold Star Award, do all 3 meals, right? And
we only had 2 in Chicago, so we couldn't afford the third one.
But they make more money now, right? So
you should see how much food costs downtown. Anyway,
so for a challenge, right? If you're listening to the show, be the brave soul, whatever you want to call it. Walk in your firehouse and say, hey, I watched this podcast or whatever. I got a challenge for you guys. I bet you we can't make it through one meal without somebody pulling out their phone for a text, a phone call, social media, whatever. And I think what you're going to find is you're going to do that, and it'll become a movement, right? You'll love it so much that it'll become a standard. I think that's a cool challenge.
Yeah.
I would do it.
Yeah, that would be interesting conversation. Nowadays, like my son, he had those apps where you get the calls and notifications. I think both at work and at home, so that'd be a little bit tough. But I hear you. The only thing that came between us and a conversation at the kitchen table was eating and some of the old timers smoking. Hey, let me throw this at you. So I love that. So challenge accepted. I'm not in the firehouse. I do put my phone down at meals with when I'm meeting with my wife. So I looked up jobs, like, right. I put in the internet, best careers to get into, and firefighter wasn't one of them. I mean, EMS is in there, but I also looked at like jobs going. How many people do we need going forward? So this one site, police jobs projected yearly over the next decade, 70,000.
Wow.
That's a lot of people. It says firemen, but firefighters employment as of 2021, 326,000. I don't know where they get that number. Why? I mean, I know there's like 350 in the IFF, and then there's 700,000 or 800,000 in volunteer. But for EMT, jobs set to be added through 2026. Take a number. Take a guess.
Through 2026?
Through 2026.
And the U.S.?
To be added.
And the U.S.?
In the U.S., yeah.
20,000?
Says 37,400.
There was no rhyme or reason to my number. It was a guess.
Yeah, no. I think that's a great guess. I would have guessed 10,000 or something like that. But I was like, wow, 30. So let's be honest, is that people are living longer. 80% of runs in the fire, maybe even more in the fire service, are EMS. There's private ambulances. Unless people want to do that, right? They want to be firefighters. So there's a struggle there, but for this to say to be added, there almost 38,000 more added. I guess what I'm then, and I'm not trying to turn the tables on a negativity standpoint, but more people are working overtime these days. A lot of it is mandatory overtime, so they don't see a way out. There's no hope that it'll change. And then if we're adding that many more jobs with so few applicants, that's going to add more stress to the already stressed workforce. We didn't have that issue. You didn't have this issue. Most of the people listening here didn't have that issue of having enough viable candidates to fill a position. It was the other way around. Hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of applicants to get on a job. Now it's shifted. So again, with that said, how does the fire service, all ranks, and all the way up to the fire chief, manage that with an additional stressor of getting quality applicants without losing your friggin' mind?
Managing the stress?
I know I threw a big question at you. You're like, Dan, come on, give me one more of my pay grade. My point in bringing this up, how do you manage the stress, and then how do you work through it without with being intentional about managing your mental health in the next 5 years, right? Of these other stressors that are going to be coming in as they already are and continue to come into our workforce.
Yeah, I think it's your outlook, perspective. It goes, we've all heard it, but are you a glass half full, glass half empty type of person? Because you could also you work at the best paying department in your area, the best schedule, the best budget, the best equip, all that stuff, go to the most jobs, right? And still be miserable. And then the flip side of it is you could be understaffed, underpaid, very little runs, be the happiest guy in the world. So I think perspective is one. And then work-life balance, talk about that. You got to have work-life balance. So I think if you start there, perspective and work-life balance are probably the two.
Yeah, no, I love it. Again, it's a big question that a lot of departments and a lot of fire chiefs and future fire chiefs are trying to address and digest. And I think that your answer is perfect because you didn't try to answer it all. You gave a couple things of what, perspective. And I'll just say this is, I told you that my son got into a department and he was being courted by another department. Fortunately, the department he is on, although it was second to reach him, they moved faster. So for those of you in the fire service that are looking for good applicants and to build a bond, what I saw in my son was the first one, and at the time, the only one, had some communication with him. The second one took a greater interest and more aggressive approach and moved them along faster. And that's what this generation needs. The other piece of it, which they didn't know until they asked, was he wanted to be on that second department. It wasn't second to him; it was first, but but they moved twice as fast as the first one, and that even got him more fired up about wanting to be a part of that department. So, if you're following my conversation, there's interest from the one party being the applicant, and there's the interest by the department. And that's what the department he's on now showed that interest, and that was powerful. Going back to our original conversation at the beginning, when people call you, do they want to talk to you or do they just want your information?
Right.
And if it's mutual, that creates a better bond.
And what I was going to add to that is that perspective, work-life balance is bi-directional. Like you said, it's an individual, but then in the department, right, they get to provide elements to that. And it has to happen at all levels, from the department leadership down to the battalion chiefs, deputies, all levels of management, right? Senior leadership, mid-level management, all the way down to company leadership. And both parties, if you will, both people, you have to be working on it simultaneously. I can have the greatest perspective on my career and the greatest work-life balance, but if it's toxic on the other side, it doesn't really work well. Isn't that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a two-way street. We know that from our own relationships with our significant other.
Yeah, because it is the best job in the world.
And he is absolutely having a blast because not only, I don't know if anybody from his department would listens to this, but what fires him up is when people ask him how he's doing. Not like, hey, like from a critical standpoint, but really show genuine care, like a human being. And we didn't always do that in the fire service. If you feel, welcomed, if you feel a part of the team, if we make you feel that, even though, again, I mean, I'm known you for, I don't know, 10 years, and, the military beats you down and then builds you up to their thing, but there's still individuality. It's not the same in the fire service, but it's really that validation and recognizing that you're a human being and offer something, to the team.
Right. Yeah. And so I think I have a point I want to make thinking about this, because your son is he still on probation?
Yeah. Yep. He's only 3 years into it, or 3 years, 3 months. Sorry.
That's a long probation.
Right. Sure is. Well, technically you are until somebody comes up underneath you.
So I don't know what they call them, probies, rookies, whatever they call them. But for people listening to this show, because I've been here before, think about if you are struggling, if you're not, I don't like the word struggling, if you're not happy or you don't have a good perspective or things like that, think about when you were a probie, how excited and how much you love the job, and what made you love the job, and what made you that excited to get butterflies coming to work, and get back to that. Right?
Absolutely.
Not every day is the best day. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm some person I'm not. I have tough days. I have whatever. But I still get butterflies going to work. But I also had a period in my own journey, as you know, where I didn't. I was miserable going to work. Like, let's just be honest, right? And then I had to change my perspective. I had to change my work-life balance. And I got back to that point to where I still get butterflies. Yeah. So the people is what makes the job. You can talk about pay and schedule and the shiny apparatus and I ride an engine versus a truck and all that stuff. That stuff comes, right? But the people, that's what makes it in the military.
Yeah, no. So without a doubt, and again, the whole conversation about today's and Mental Health Monthly is, I can't keep on I don't think you can either, do the show and just constantly talk about depression, PTSD, divorce, being stressed out, illnesses, and so forth. It's like, what is mental health? And if we're going to change the stigma associated with the words, say mental illness, mental health, anytime I've ever done a class, I ask people, when is it favorable or unfavorable when somebody says mental health? It's kind of like going to the principal's office. Very, very seldom did you go to the principal's office to get an attaboy or attagirl. So how do we change the perspective of a conversation around mental health? And hence Firefighter Nation, we're doing this, and not to use the word flip the script, but let's have a positivity about the fire service, because there are a lot of external things that are pulling at us and our ability to maintain that balance. These are words that we used in today's show. So, what else?
I just want to add, when we talk about the positivity and it being the greatest job in the world, and if you're listening, it just starts with one person.
Who is that person? Right.
Right.
I agree with it. But then the question is who is that person? Is it you? Is it me? Is it them? Is it somebody else? Kind of like bad juju. Where did it begin? Yeah.
And I think for the purpose of that question it starts with, if it's me, it starts with me. If it's you, it starts with you. And we only get to control our side of the street, right? But it just takes one person to make that change, to be that person. And, go be that guy. If you're in a firehouse or a situation or a crew where you don't have that positivity and you don't feel like it's the greatest job in the world, be that person. You'd be surprised what happens.
All right. So you mentioned Scott, who was in the military. I'm assuming he's retired and he's not in the fire service.
He is not. He retired 24 years, Marine Corps.
Okay.
He was our company commander in Iraq. And then he stayed in and retired as a major. He was an enlisted guy that transitioned into an officer.
And he wrote a book.
He did.
The Battle of...
The book is called Echo in Ramadi.
Oh, shoot. Gosh.
It was the Battle of Ramadi, but it's called
the
Echo.
Battle of Ramadi.
Our
That's
company,
right.
our company name was Echo Company.
Okay. I thought I had that right. I felt so good, right? And then you slammed me. Gosh. So Echo in Ramadi.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Read it. So I just want to give him a plug on that. So if you want to read a good book and you want to read about Chris Muscle, read Echo in Ramadi.
Or listen to it. It's on Audible too.
Okay. In the fire service, 3 names that, like with transcendental meditation, you get a mantra. And a mantra is a word that isn't related to anything else, but it's supposed to help center you and calm you. In the same way, 3 names that you can say and have a connection with, or that then you would call.
You're asking me.
Yeah, that's you. You're the only one on the show. You're a quick learner, brother.
Well, I would expect nothing less.
Yeah.
You're asking me for 3 names.
Well, if you don't ask me questions, I got to ask you questions.
Oh, whatever. I ask you questions. So you're asking me for 3 names.
Yeah.
That would be that fire service version of him.
Yeah. And if you only have 1 name, that's fine. If you got 2 names, that's fine. If you got 10 names, they only need 3.
Yeah. I think 2 of those 3 that come right off the bat would be people I work with today. Ben Jones.
Okay.
Chris Masner.
Cool.
And the third one would be John McDaniel.
Outstanding. See, it wasn't that hard.
No, I didn't know where you were going with it.
Yeah, no. I think it's great. And
so good.
No, a lot of people will ask, like, hey, if you're in trouble, right, who would you call? They could be the same 3 names, but on the other side of it is people that anybody has a relationship with. How many times have we been somewhere like, oh yeah, I should have called you, or I've been meaning to call you.
Oh yeah.
Stick that, right in a garbage can, in my opinion. Call. Right. I do that. Anyhow, so you can return fire if you want.
I'm going to, because I'm going to ask you the same exact question.
Just because you got them written down. Hey, listen, I already.
Let me hear. 3. You're limited. You know what? This is going to be harder question.
My buddy Tim Gibbons.
Okay.
My buddy Tim Gibbons.
Okay.
I've known for 30-something years. He's in that picture right there.
Oh, okay. I think I met him.
Right. Tim Gibbons. And he was on squad 2 down the block. Great firefighter. Been in he also knows he's recovery and play golf with buddy of mine, Jimmy Pearl, special ops chief. Jumped on my peer support team 15 years ago. And Bob DeBerkey, unfortunately, he's no longer with us. He was another guy. And I have others now too that have morphed based on my relationship with people across the country. A guy like Frank Lito from New York that I can call if I wanted to, or so forth. So
Right. I think what's more important, and not to discount the names or the people, Frank and those guys, or even Scott and my people, it's less about the names. It's more about the fact that you have people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's important, right?
Yeah. So I'm glad you asked me, and I was going to write them down. I didn't write them down because I didn't want to keep on looking down when you were talking, but I would be disappointed if you didn't ask me. The whole idea, again, from a mental health standpoint, what are we talking about? It doesn't have to be negative. It could be positive, and it could continue to go up like the stock market has for many years. And I'm watching this. I'm going to plug Charles Payne. I don't have a lot of money, but I do invest based on his stuff. And he's like, get in. It's the same thing with mental health.
Yeah.
Get in.
Yeah.
And stay in the game. And that's what we were kind of really talking about today. Rather than talking about seasonal depression, seasonal affective disorder, right? SAD, the Christmas blues. The goal of this was to talk about really the best Christmas ever, wherever we are at, whenever we come out with this show, really the best career ever, but it doesn't happen by accident.
No. It's the best career ever if you allow it to be.
Yeah, and be intentional about all the things that we've talked about and having connection both at work and on your days off.
Yeah.
We didn't even get into the family aspect of it in a sense of our, spouses and our kids. But that's a whole nother episode. So any last words?
Nope.
All right. What a very cool helmet you got back there, by the way. I hope everybody can see that. I mean, that's like how many fires has that thing seen?
How do I kick you out of the show?
How many fires has that thing seen? Like 1,000?
Hold on, there's a button.
How many BTUs? All right, hey, so thanks for joining us. Another episode of Mental Health Monthly. My name's Dan Degryse and my co-host Chris Muscle.
We'll see ya.